Good morning, everybody. This is Stacy Turner with DMOpro. We are week of conference, which is always an exciting time. I know I'll be able to see some of you there. Looking forward to reconnecting. I always describe it to my friends as like the family reunion of all the family you actually want to see. So very excited to see mentors of mine, people I have learned from, and just to connect with friends I've made some really deep friendships, including so many of you. So I always love conference and just going different places. And we'll be in Indianapolis this time, and there is a really nice steakhouse downtown that is like one of the oldest steakhouses or the oldest steakhouse in Indianapolis. So if you guys are there, it is fancy, it's pricey, but it's really good. And we went there, Jarrett and I did a couple of years ago when conference was there, and it was just a fun experience because it's a really old steakhouse, really good food. So always looking forward to seeing everybody. And I wanted to talk with you guys about just the process of the conversation we have with people when we're talking about Juice Plus. So a couple of things kind of triggered my thought process in doing this topic this morning. We've kind of covered it before, but I think it's always great to circle back around. And you may have team members that are new that you want to send this to this morning, or just thinking about different people on your list. Where are they in the process of ordering or of the conversation, right? The point of the conversation is to give them the information they need so that they can place their order, because that's where we really help people. I mean, if we're not helping them get started, we're giving them information and education, and that's all beneficial. But really, the biggest impact we have is when people order and they get those plant powders into their body. That's where we see their change. And so I want to be effective in the conversation so that it helps move people forward. And so often we hear, especially new people will say, I'm fine sharing Juice Plus. I'll mention it to people, and if they want to order, they'll order. That's fine, but I'm not going to be pushy. I'm not going to, I don't really want to sell this. And so in that thought process, they're really missing sort of like the psychology of a sale. Like it just doesn't typically work that way. It's when people buy something, we know they buy for their why. What's the why for them? What's the reason that they want it? And then we also know repetitive. Why do commercials play over and over again? Why do they have ads that show up on social media over and over again? It needs to be something that's of interest to them. And then there is a repetitive process that multiple exposures brings our brain to the place of, okay, I want to take action. So it's very rare that we will tell somebody about Juice Plus and then they just order it right on the spot, right? We love that. It's less than 5%, if even that. We wish that everyone was 5%. So then we sort of get discouraged by the 95% that don't, because the 5% is the easiest. And so I just wanted us to think about some of the conversations we're in. Where are they in this process? Because I have a list of people that I'm sharing with, right? I write in my DMO planner of the new conversations I've had. And then sometimes it's easy just to think, or like, okay, we talked a couple times and then the conversation sort of fizzles out and you don't know what to do with it. Like, how many times do I revisit that? What would be a next step for them? And you're kind of unsure, or you share like one time and there's super excitement, and then you never hear back from them again, which typically they're not going to reach back out to us on their own. Only like maybe 5% do that, but it's going to be up to us to reach back out to them. So there's a process that works. And you guys know the difference between a team member that comes up with a process on their own. Maybe they just have a lot of respect from the people that know them, or a lot of clout, or a lot of rapport. There are people that way where they, like, the people around them see them as a resource already. They're very connected. And when that person says, hey, you should do this, they're like, okay, I will do that. And they're able to get sales much easier on their own. We have a new gal that's hoping to get sales coordinator today. And Christy, if you're listening to this, she is that girl. She has has such confidence in what she's sharing and what she's saying. And she really goes by sharing stories and having people come on and share stories with her new people. They've been doing launch calls where they're getting 2 or 3, 5 people at a time with 2 or 3 upline on the call, and they're just kind of talking and sharing their stories and experience and asking questions. It's working really well, but there's a process, right? Like she has found a process that they're using, and it goes very well with what I want to share with you. I came up with 7 different R's, like words that start with an R, to start and keep the conversation going to the end, where we help them get started and take good care of them. So we're going to talk about reaching out, realize, relate, resource, reconnect, resolve, and respond. So I'm going to go through each of these with you guys, and like, let's just think back through some of the conversations we have. Where are they in this? And then are we teaching this to our new people? Of if they're going to get frustrated if they think, oh, we just talked to somebody about Juice Plus one time, I tell them my story, I send them a video, and then nobody's ordering, nobody wants to order, like nobody loves Juice Plus, nobody loves me, and I guess I'll go eat worms. Remember that story when we were little, of that song? So we don't want to get them frustrated. We want to keep them engaged, and we want to teach them a process. Okay, so the first one is reach out. So we've got to find new people to talk to. Whether you're brand new in the business, you're going to have to reach out and start conversations with people, right? You want new conversations. If you've been in the business for a while and you've had, if you're talking to the same people over and over again, you're going to get frustrated. They're going to get frustrated. And it just feels like pressure at that point if your conversation number of conversation is limited. So we want new connections, new people, and there's a ton of people that we don't know. 21 years later, I'm still talking to new people, but I have to be super intentional about that, right? Like I have to be about Juice Plus. And so that means I'm really having to make sure that the conversations I'm going in or having with people, especially strangers, that I'm planting little seeds with them so that the conversation has a chance to develop and sprout. So it might be something saying like, if they ask, what do you do? And I say, I have my own business. They might ask, okay, what is that? Or like Beth Leopold does, she just goes into, when they say, so what do you do? She says, have you ever heard of Juice Plus? And she just goes into Juice Plus. Like, why do we have to make it this long drawn out thing and come up with some, like, just tell them what it is. And if the interest is there, the conversation develops, right? So, but there's different ways that you kind of plant the seed to get the conversations going. So that's the first one, reaching out, finding new conversations, and being the one to start the conversation, right? If you're waiting for other people to ask you, they might on social media, but you're still having to start the conversation by posting. You're reaching out by putting things out on social media in a way that builds momentum and consistency, that people see the message of who you are. So that's our reach out. The second one is realize. So you've got to ask questions and then realize what their need is. Notice what that need is. So if they're talking about their grandkids, then I'm going to think, all right, they've got grandkids. Maybe they would be interested in nutrition for their little ones, right? So I'm just kind of banking information as we're talking. Now, if you're new and you're talking to your family, you already know what their needs are. Probably you've started to recognize them as you've been talking with them, like over the years. You've known what their health issues are, what their struggles are. So those are the things that you have to just realize, recognize what those are, and then that's going to be their need, right? So again, people buy for their why, they don't buy for yours. If we're really worried about, I don't know if I have that much of a story, I don't know if my story is that impactful, I don't really see enough changes yet. A lot of times new people will say that to us, right? But they don't understand it's not their story that's going to get somebody to order. It's that person's need. Your why is different than my why. I was concerned about my picky toddler. If you don't have a picky toddler, feeding a picky toddler is not why you're going to order Juice Plus, right? Like that doesn't make sense. It's not why I would be interested in it now. I don't have a picky toddler. So if somebody's story is just this huge, powerful story of how their child just started eating all these fruits and vegetables after taking Juice Plus, I'd be like, that's great, but I don't have a toddler. So it has to be specific to the person. So realize and recognize what their need is. We want to see what is the need that they have. That's probably a better word for that, is recognize, but you want to notice their need. And then you're going to relate. So you're going to listen, and then you're going to relate your product as a possible solution. Okay. So if somebody's saying, I just eat terrible, I'm so busy, I skip lunch, I skip breakfast, and then they're talking about they don't have an easy way to get a healthy meal in, then relate the product of the complete as a meal replacement, as a solution to the problem they just shared with you, right? So you're going to, if they're talking their immune system, then you would relate the immune support side of Juice Plus to them. If they're talking about they're on a bunch of medication, they're tired, their kids are picky eaters. I mean, we really have an amazing product that we are talking to people about, in that every person we talk to can benefit. There are other people that have companies that they sell makeup, or they sell jewelry, or they sell essential oils. And I love essential oils, but not everyone's going to use them. I think that would be a harder sell for guys, to have a conversation with them. But I can easily have a conversation with the guy in the airplane next to me about fruits and vegetables in a capsule, right? Like it's something everybody knows we're supposed to be eating, but nobody's eating enough of. And it's something a lot of people can relate to as well. So we want to help them relate to our message. And again, that's taking it back to their needs. So relate our solution to the problem that they have. And then next is a resource. Once you've connected that, they're starting to kind of connect the dots in their mind. They're seeing, okay, this could be a help to me. I think this might be something that makes sense to me too. Then you want to connect them to a resource. So if it's a complete stranger, I need their information. I need to get their contact information. So I need to send them some sort of a video, some sort of third-party validation. In the case where I was talking about this gal, Christy, she's connecting them to a resource of her upline, of her sponsors, whether in person or on Zoom, and they're sharing their stories. They're relating their need to the solution of Juice Plus. And so you want to connect them to that to validate this as a possible solution for them too. So sharing a resource with them is really an important aspect, because that's going to validate. It's going to be third party, affirmation to them of this makes sense, and this helped them with that situation, and I think this could help me with my situation. And we don't have to be the expert, right? So you're connecting them to a video, to an audio, or to an upline, and that can be through an event. That can be through a Zoom event, that can be through live events, that can be through a link of a video. So connecting them to a third-party resource to share the same story, to retell the story in another way that's going to connect the dots in their mind, that they're going to see, okay, this could be a resource for me as well. This could be a solution to me as well. So if you have team members that are talking to people, but they're just not getting orders, check this one thing. Are they sending them videos? Are they connecting them to a resource? Are they getting them in front of you? Your new team members' best chance of getting customers is connecting their people to you. If you can get them to get on a phone call with you, to get on Zoom, to meet one-on-one. When I see people moving fast, that's what they're doing. They're connecting their people to their upline, to their sponsor, to the person who shared with them. So if you have somebody on your team that will do that, especially when they're new, you'll see fast growth. because more happens in a conversation than just a link to a video. Because when you send a link to a video, now it extends the follow-up afterwards, right? But if you're in a connection, a decision is often made, either a yes or a no, or it's going to be maybe, but it shortens that time. And that's the next one, which is reconnect. That's the follow-up side of it. So follow-up is professional. It's not pushy. Okay. It's professional. If you say, I would love to hear what you think of this video, or I really want to know what you think of the call that we did tonight, or I would really love your feedback on the speaker that you listened to in this Zoom. Can I reconnect with you in a couple days? They're going to say yes. They always say yes. And then it's professional on your part to actually do the work and to follow up with them. So if you set it up ahead of time, you're not going to feel awkward. You should feel awkward if you don't do it, because then you would be not doing something you said you were going to do. So we want to make sure that we follow up in a professional way. And sometimes this is hard, especially if you're not getting a connection back from them. So like you just do it anyway. Even if you're not getting the response, you can start making up stories. They hate me, they think I'm pushy, whatever, and they're just busy. What if when they got your text message or they got your phone call and they were going to answer you, but then something crazy happens with the kids and there's this huge mess and they have to clean up the mess, and then they just forget in that moment to do it. But in your head, you're like, yep, that's it. Their friendship's gone. They're never going to talk to me again. It's the end of all things with this person. And you just go into this crazy space. I've been there. So I get it, right? And you start questioning yourself and you start second guessing. But I just think, no, follow up is professional. And there have been people I've thought, I don't know if to follow up anymore. And Jarrett has encouraged me, like, and we'll talk about stuff and he'll say, do one more time, call them one more time, and I'll do one more follow-up. And dang it, if that's not the one that they really, make the decision. And I think it's after 5 follow-ups is where people do actually make the conversation. So sadly, we quit at 3 because maybe at 4, they didn't answer us back, right? And then the next R is to resolve. So you want to resolve their objections, overcome their objections, and help guide them to order. So what is it that's holding them back? Or what if it isn't any objection? What if we think that they're going to have 10 things that they're unsure about and all these questions, but really we just need to ask them if they would like to order? So being able to lead somebody in the conversation and just say, I would love to help you get started. Do you need any other information from me? Or here's the order form, and hand them the order form and say, this is what I take, and walk them through the order form of what you prefer to, or what you recommend for them. So there's another R. What do you recommend? What product do you recommend that they take? They're going to take what you take. If you have a new team member that's only ordering the fruits and veggies, I don't know if you guys have noticed that. They order all of their customers order the fruits and veggies, because they have a limited belief that it's expensive or that it's not worth the investment, or they haven't experienced a quad. They're not going to say order the quad. They will say, well, I ordered the fruits and veggies. But when you have a team member that orders the quad for themselves and the shake, oftentimes, what are the orders that they get? The quad and the shake. So if you're new and you're listening to this, what are you ordering? Are you experiencing all of the products, or are you just holding back a bit? Because it will change the direction of your conversations. Promotions happen a whole lot faster with quads. You can get somebody to Partner Plus with 2 quads and a shake order just for their family. So it would be themselves a quad, their husband a quad, and a shake order that they shared. That gets them to Partner Plus and $100 right away, right? That's easy. Why do we have to extend this so long? It's often those get extended because they're only ordering for one person in their family and they're only ordering fruits and vegetables. It's just going to be a much more difficult journey along the way. I mean, when I started, we were some reason only ordering fruits and veggies. It took 20 orders to get to QSC. 20. If you do quads, it's 9. Like, that seems so much doable, but what you're ordering, what you're recommending to somebody is what they're going to order. So just kind of keep that in mind. So help resolve their objections. Do they need another call with somebody else? What is it that's holding them back? I love when we can get to this point, right? If they're telling me the things that they're concerned about, whether it's price or is it organic or whatever, when they're asking questions, guys, that's a really good thing. That means they're engaged. They watched a video, they listened to something, they're thinking about it. It's an option in their mind. What I don't like is when they're silent and there's just no response on the other end. And you're like, I don't know what to do with this, like, so if they're in the point where they've got objections, they've got something they need help resolving in their mind, I love that part. And so that's where the conversation really gets good. And you're just helping to help them overcome it by giving them another resource, another answer, and you want them to feel comfortable. This is also sometimes where it takes some patience, and you want to make sure that they feel validated, they feel heard, they don't feel rushed, right? Like you don't want to just rush this process. I had a person that he was like, okay, we're ready to order. And then I was like, excellent. What are you guys, wanting to order? So then gave him prices and the link. And he was like, he came back and he was like, oh no, this is way too expensive. And I was like, no, it's not. Tell him, what? Come on. I see you in the coffee shop all the time when I'm there. What, are you kidding? So I just like kept talking to him. And I basically said, look, I'm here. When you're ready, I'm here. I'm not going to rush this. I want you to feel confident moving forward with this purchasing decision. I know without a doubt that this is beneficial to you guys, and I wouldn't recommend it if I didn't. And I wouldn't be recommending it 21 years later. I love you both, and I'm here. When you're ready, I'm ready. And we had gone through quite a bit of overcoming objections, right? And I just left it at that, and he ordered. I didn't even notice. It was like 3 weeks later. He didn't send me a message. I just happened to see it in my on my office that he had ordered. So when it was his time, when they had overcome their own objection, when they had resolved their issues with finance, when they had decided this is how it was going to fit into their budget, then he was ready and he knew to use the link and he ordered, right? But I didn't change my conversation with them. When I saw them at the coffee shop, I gave them a hug. I said hello. I didn't bring it back to Juice Plus again. I just was relating to them. I was real with them. And when they were ready, then they ordered. And so just keep that relationship first, relationship over everything else. Look, there's another R word. How we have all these R words in here. I guess that's the thing. We can just say over all of this, the arching R would be relationship. That's what's most important. Do they know that you care? Can they see that? Do they understand that? Do they relate to that? And then it's just, over and over responding back to them, keeping them connected into a friendship with you as a customer, making sure that they've got good care, that they're taking their product correctly, that they, are happy with it. And, again, you're sort of resolving issues that they have. Are they taking it? Oh, I forget in the mornings. Oh, I still have some product left over, whatever that is. Help resolve that for them. How about if you put it by your coffee in the morning? What if you take it out of the bottles and put it in a pretty dish instead of the bottles in the cabinet? Why aren't the kids eating it? What if you dissolve the gummies? What if you open capsules into applesauce? What if you put the capsules into your shake? Like help them resolve the issue that they're having if they're not taking it, because if they're not taking it, we're not really able to help them. And so I wanted to also just give you guys the permission to celebrate a no. So there was a book that we read years ago. It was called, oh, now I can't think of it. Something about no, Go for No. Do you guys remember that book? Go for no. So what it was talking about is not everybody's going to say yes. Why do we expect everybody to say yes? And just go for the no. Like if you get 5 no's, you're like, woohoo, I got 5 today. That's excellent. And like celebrate the no if that's what it is. And sometimes that's really good. If they just say no, you're like, okay, thank you so much, because now they're off your list and you don't have to think about going back to them, right? Like help move the conversation even to a no if it's a no. need to know what you're thinking so that I can either help move you forward or I can release you and you don't feel like you're getting any pressure from me and we're finished with the conversation. But if they give you a no, you can walk away knowing that you really educated them. And there was something that one of the gals in a chat, the Healthy Living Revolution chat, I don't even think that's the name of it, Healthy Living something. I can't find it, but I'll put it into our Voxer chat because it was really good. And she was just doing that. She was celebrating that somebody said no. Here it is. So she said, she kind of had a discussion, but she said she viewed everything and decided it's not for her. Yay. She told me no. And yes, I celebrate all of my no's because I know they are a big part of the process, understanding the law of averages. I pat myself on the back knowing I gave her everything she needed to make a decision as she was asking for it. Why did she say not for her? She made excuses, which I gently addressed, thanking her for being open to learning, and then I let go. I patted myself on the back, knowing I had gifted her with an incredible, amazing product and opportunity and education. Remember the lessons we learned in Go for No book. So you can get down about it and you can beat yourself up like, what did I do wrong? Why didn't she say yes? How did I mess up? I missed something, but you can just celebrate knowing it wasn't for her right now, right? A lot of times they'll come back, but it's okay if not everyone says yes. In fact, you're going to have more conversations where people say no than you will say yes. What if you really understand that? You're going to have more conversations where people say no, never, and never order than those that say not right now or that order right away. It's way more. So instead of like bemoaning the fact and like beating ourselves up for it or just thinking, oh, I'm terrible at this, it's just part of the law of averages, like she said. Not everyone's going to order from us. Sadly, we want them to, right? But it's okay. So it's a great response to end with. Do y'all have anything you want to add to this? Any personal experiences with this process or questions? I'll open it up to you. Just remember you are muted.
Can you just go through the list again, Stacy, to be sure I got them all?
Yes. And I can put them in Voxer too.
Okay.
Reach out. So that's new connections. Realize, ask questions and notice their need. Relate, listen and relate your product as a solution. Resource, connect them to a resource to validate. Reconnect, to follow up as professional. Resolve their objections. And then respond to them, back to them over time. And then the overarching R would be relationship. How can you stay in relationship with people?
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
Number 7, one I had missed. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Excellent. Well, let me stop.